Hey, it's Monday morning, May 17, and I've got a couple of projects I have to bring in this week, and hopefully get completed and paid out on. One is a cabinet, custom cabinet job that has two different components. That's for Jeremy and Shaman Polland are very nice people, but I've been stymied in it. Usually I see a project and I see exactly how it's going to happen, and this one wasn't coming together for me for the longest time, and then I had to start some other projects in the meantime, and I could never get back to it. They've been incredibly patient. And of course, I've been promising delivery and coming up short. It's just it's just a shit show. It's not the way to do business. I mean, the classic way is to under-promise and over-deliver, and I've been doing the opposite on that one. But
in 1/4 mile, turn
it has come out good.
Avenue.
And I will meet the schedule to get it done this week. I just have to close out the Trahant deck. That's where I'm driving to right now, to Dartmouth Street in Lynn. We're going to trim it out and do some trellis work, and that would be done. And if we don't make any mistakes,
turn left at the traffic light.
That will actually give me a little bit of time this afternoon to work more in Pollender. What I did is I got up early and I went and sanded the walnut tops of these cabinet pieces. I bought some walnut, and I found some quick drying polyurethane that probably the purists would scoff, but I think it's going to look really nice. So I sanded it with 150 grit and then 220 grit, and I had routed the edges and everything. I had glued up one of the panels yesterday. So, and walnut is, I would say, it's really expensive, but it's probably the wood I love the most. It's so beautiful looking, and it just looks great when it's finished. And but I forget how much I paid. I went into Everett, to this little hole in the wall dealer,
In
and
2 1/4 miles, turn right on Chestnut Street.
I bought 3 8-foot 1x8s. I should have picked them out better because they were cracks in the tops and stuff, and I'm pretty sure that cost me over $300. You would think if I paid that much for some wood, I would remember, but I'm pretty sure it did. But it will make the project. The project will pop. The other thing I did is spend some money on very heavy-duty draw slides that have they have a soft close to them. They're really cool. Actually, they're made in China, but they're really cool. I got them on Amazon. So I got 3 of them. 3 of those draw slides cost me $75. So that was kind of pricey too. And the only thing that I really have left and challenged with is the actual drawers and the doors. I don't have the door hinges. They're going to be those, European style hinges. And I have a jig for it, and I've done it a number of times, and they come out good. I think what I'm going to end up doing is they're in a hurry to kind of get these things in place because they have some guests coming in for the weekend, and she wants to clean up her area. And these cabinets were designed to handle kids' shoes and athletic equipment, and also coats and stuff like that. So naturally, those things are all around. So I'm sure every time she looks at some shoes or a lacrosse stick or something like that, she's talking about what an asshole I am. But because I am, I have been way behind on this thing, and I really feel bad about it. But I'll make good on it. It'll come out fine. I did it with MDF, which I spray painted. It came out okay. Part of the problem, though, is the MDF was so big, and I didn't have a good place to spray it, and I was basically spraying outside on good days, and there weren't that many good days in spring this year on the North Shore of Boston. There's a lot of rain, and you can't let the rain touch that MDF. So that's what that is. The lid job that I'm closing out would basically trim the rim joists in PVC board. I'm doing something different for the first time. In the areas that don't show, I'm using 1/4 inch PVC panel that I'm cutting down to fit the rim joists. I'm going to rip it with my Makita trim saw. Because it dawns on me that in those areas, nobody cares if it's 3/4, which is very, very expensive, or if it's a ripped down piece from a 1/4 inch sheet that costs like $35. So that's where I'm going on that. And I don't mean to sound cheap or whatever, but I have to do these things smart. I'm not up. Somebody was going fast.
Turn right on Eastern Avenue.
So the first thing I do when I get there is set up the saw and rip that sheet. And then I do have, where it shows, a 3/4 inch piece that's going to tie into the front. And then underneath, we're going with the PVC lattice. And again, where that's just for show, nobody will ever touch it. I'm basically just fastening that with trim brads. It'll look better. I'll throw in a couple of screws here and there to make sure it doesn't come apart.
Continue 3/4 of a mile to the end of the street, then turn left.
But I suspect that this is gonna, this possibly could get done. Giving me a couple hours to spare to work on the drawers and the shelving for the polymer cabinets. That would be an unbelievably productive Monday for me, which would get me to tomorrow, where I think I would actually try to install the polymer cabinet. With the caveat that we're still working on the doors and the European door hinges.
Street, turn left.
But that would then get me to just had a kid walk right in front of me. How do people do that shit? I never did it growing up. I never did it when I was a grown up. So what I did is I gunned the motor a little bit and, put a bit of scare into his little ass. And he moves quick. Holy shit. I don't understand it. I do not understand it. But it's a different world. It's a different world. People just have a different attitude. Is it selfishness or is it entitlement? I mean, I'm just going to have my head down and angle across a main street with cars going back and forth and expect the cars to slam on the brakes? I would never do that in my whole life. I just think that this nanny state, this me first attitude, I don't know. Is that America? I don't think so. But I'm seeing it more and more and more. Well, but it's interesting when you call their bluff and kind of keep going. Little bastard does a little bit of a shuffle, which was actually kind of funny now that I'm past being pissed off. Oh, you can't take this stuff seriously. Well,
in 1/4 mile, turn left on Peary Avenue, then take the first right.
There's this GPS lady again telling me to go way the freak out of my way. When I know exactly that's not the fastest way to this destination. It's tax day today. It's May 17th. We got a whole month for COVID. Of course, I didn't do a goddamn thing on my taxes. I'm so behind, and if the IRS looks at this podcast, I'm screwed. But
turn left on Peary Avenue, then take the first
I'm screwed
right.
Anyway. So I've got to sit down one of these times and really figure out where I am on my taxes.
Turn left on Magnolia Avenue, then take the first right.
I have tremendous accountants that just file extensions for me, and they're just fantastic accountants. But I've got to sit down and really put this together because my corporation, I took sole ownership of it a couple of years ago, and then during COVID, I didn't have a heck of a lot of work for a while. And also I was just paying pickup people and stuff like that, and I wasn't taking a salary. So it's all a mire. But I'm resolved to straighten it out this year. I'm resolved to getting everything straight this year. Try to get some things on cruise control. Of course, the Biden administration will probably completely screw up the economy, and that will screw up my plans as well. Because I need just a basic amount of health in the economy to continue to sell to people.
Turn left on Pendexter Street, then take the first left. Turn left on Jennis Street.
It's not like people think of my company that the minute they see a problem with their house or their deck or whatever. There's a lot of old established companies. When the economy gets bad, those are the guys that kind of scoop up the work, and the people like me who are basically a bottom feeder and go after the pieces that a lot of the established companies don't care about. We'll have to really hustle, and it will change. The economy always goes up and it always goes down. And I remember.
Turn left on Jennis Street.
3 big ups and 3 big downs since I've been around. And of course, my family, my father and mother were products of the Depression, and that profoundly affected their sense of what can happen. But it's just a shame. I mean, we had
1/4 mile, Turn left on Millard Avenue.
We had a president who was a businessman and understood how to make things happen, and because he said stupid things and tweeted stupid things, and couldn't be controlled, basically, the media and the establishment railroaded him. And yet, the economy was rising.
Turn left on Millard Avenue.
Everybody had jobs that wanted jobs. Gas prices were low. We were energy independent. No foreign government
turn right on Linfield Street.
was screwing with us, including that little whack job Korean that Trump got in his head and straightened out. So it's just unbelievable what a great job he did, how he gets no credit for it. Solving problems in the Middle East, amazing. They're naming buildings and streets for him in Israel. And the mass media is calling him anti-Semitic here. Even some of my Jewish friends, Jewish liberal friends, I don't get that. I don't get them anymore. They obviously don't give a shit about Israel because the Democrats have so turned their back on Israel. It's incredible.
In 3/4 of a mile, turn left on Dartmouth Street.
And I don't know. I don't understand that part. But I'm not here to solve all the problems. I'm here to build a deck for some nice people and finish another nice family's cabinet furniture.
In 1/2 mile, turn left on Dartmouth Street.
And after this week, I possibly will be going into Boston if I can get a permit out of them. Seems to be all sorts of problems, some sort of glitch over workman's compensation. I've been trying to buy a policy, and the state has denied my petition. They say that I'm not the only owner in my company, and it's hard. I'm trying to buy coverage so that people, if they get hurt,
turn left on Dartmouth Street.
That they're compensated, and the state is holding me up. It's the land of the brave, but not the home of the free. I'm in Lynn. Hang in there.